Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be playing some more Destiny, but we're doing something a little different today. We are going to be going over all of these stats that you see over here, and how they impact your gameplay. So, it could help you, or it's just gonna help you if you don't already know what they do. So let's just get right into it. And the first one you see here has a fist. It's kind of hard to see because of the background, but it's a fist, and I have 58 of it. This is your strength. It covers your melee ability cooldown. My melee ability is my hammer. Hammer equal good. I didn't know these were just lying over there. So basically, my melee cooldown is 59 seconds. So if I would raise the strength, I would make it so it would go, so if I make it tier 6, so if I raise it a little bit more, it would only take 51 seconds. So it really depends on how good your melee ability is. So my melee ability is a hammer. It is actually, I really like it. So yeah, it is very useful. Hi. Oh, that's Lincoln. Hi, Lincoln. Wall. He's just dancing. For the next stat, I don't know what to describe that as, but it's right here, right where my circle is. And that is your intellect. Your intellect, it's your ultimate cooldown. So, mine is 5 minutes and 43 seconds right now. Sadly, my ultimate is not fully charged yet. But so if I were to raise this, my cooldown would go from 5 minutes and 43 seconds to only 5 minutes. So it depends on how much you like your special. Like if you think your special is not practical and you could do better without using it and just using your melee ability or your grenade, then you don't really want that much intellect. So then, if you don't have that much faith in your ultimate, if you have armor, don't pick that armor because it has good intellect. Pick it because of its other stats, like its strength. So you can use your so you can use your melee ability more, if you like that more. So that is how you will utilize your powers and your armor the most. Now for our next stat, discipline. Discipline is your grenade cooldown. So I personally think that discipline is very useful to have. Okay? Because your grenade, it takes out big groups of enemies, and my grenade continuously stays there and does fire damage. So it just depends on how good your grenade is and how much faith you have in it to take out your enemies. And if you have a lot of faith in it, just go all out in discipline and you will, hi Lincoln, and go out on discipline and you will just destroy. If you have a good grenade, you can just, like, if you have it down to like 30 seconds, that would be really hard to do, but if you manage to get it down to 30 seconds, you have a good grenade, your enemies, like, every time you go into a fight, they're gonna be just blown up instantly. But if you don't like that kind of gameplay and you like to have a challenge, then maybe switch your grenade to something that's not as good, or just don't max out your discipline. Or you could have your discipline maxed out and just not use your grenade as much, just so you have it in handy when you need it. But that's up to you. So, for the next stat. Yeah, Lincoln says that he would like his discipline maxed out. So, for the next stat. The next stat is recovery. Increases the speed at which you regain lost health. So, I really recommend getting your recovery really high, because if you get hit hard by something, you don't want to be at a health where you can just get hit one more time and then you'd be dead. No, you want to recover your health faster so that you don't die as much, because you have max health a lot more than you usually would. So if you're like a hunter and you can just dodge attacks with your ability and you're really good at it, then it's your decision, but you probably don't have to go all out in your recovery because you won't get hit as much. So you won't need to recover as much. But if you don't play Hunter, or if you do and you just aren't that good at using your abilities to dodge, I would really recommend going all out on recovery, because it is just a really good stat to have. Okay, on to the next one. Resilience. So, your resilience, resilience, basically, so you have a shield on you. It's basically a second health bar. You can see it at the bottom of my screen, or you could. Yeah, at the very bottom of the screen. I'm actually not sure if that's my XP or my shield. My shield might be at the top of my screen. But wherever it appears, that is your shield. That's how much damage you can take before it goes onto your actual health. Yeah, Lincoln can come up. Yeah, look at the top of my screen. I will go into a fight real quick. Yeah, look at the top of my screen. I'm getting my shield right now. And look, now I have shield. That's actually just because of the rift, but... But anyway, so I would also, I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I am sure That I've watched some other YouTubers here. We'll let them shoot me. Look, I'm just losing my health right now. That's when it would come in hand. That's when it would come in handy to have a lot of recovery. See, I just got all of that. I just got all of that shield back. So I'm not exactly sure how it works, but on the people I've watched play Destiny, on the YouTubers, and on the sometimes I used to watch my dad play when I played. It was a long time ago, but one thing I do remember is whenever I upgraded my resilience, I didn't die as much. So it also, for the Titan, it reduces the cooldown on my shield. So that's also pretty nice. I'm pretty sure it does that on everyone and just reduces the cooldown of your class ability. So Lincoln, use your class ability. So Lincoln's class ability, it's this healing rift. So if he was someone that took a lot of damage, he would want to get resilience and recovery because it would he would be able to heal more. So he wouldn't die as much. Now, for the next stat, it is mobility. So, if you are someone that is really strong, so you're just bouncing from fight to fight to fight, I would recommend getting mobility. But if you aren't that strong and you're in the early game, don't ignore mobility completely, because when you're trying to get from fight to fight after you've done one, even if it took a long time, if you don't have that much mobility, you will feel like you're covered in honey. You will feel like you're not moving fast at all. So even if you aren't constantly going from fight to fight, I still recommend getting this a decent amount. See, I have it tier 4 already. So what I would recommend is, if you're a person that takes a lot of damage, I would really focus on mobility so you can get out of those battles. Like, if you're low on HP and you're not a Titan and can't just throw up a shield at any point that you wanted, I would really recommend getting mobility, because you can escape and find cover with mobility. And if you don't, you'll just be in the open for a lot longer than you have to, and you might even die because of it. So I recommend getting your mobility decent. Now, for stuff to what kind of armor you want. So in my opinion, in the way that I play and the class that I have and how I've customized my class, I can customize my class with all of these customizations. This is just how I have customized it. I really like it the way I have. So I don't really want to move it, right? I don't really want to move that around, because I like my strength. My grenade, I don't use it that much. I don't really use my grenade that much. But I like my recovery and resilience. Now my mobility, that's just a given. If your armor that you're choosing has no mobility, I wouldn't recommend getting it. I wouldn't recommend using it unless you're gonna change your armor out after every battle. So, unless you already have high mobility, then if it has some other good stats that you want, just use it if you already have high mobility. But if you don't, I would not recommend using that. So, stats that I like to use with my playstyle and my skill, I'm not very good at the game, so I like to have a lot of recovery and resilience. So, because I don't want to die that much, because I'm not that good at the game. But if you are good and you have confidence that you can take out your enemies and know exactly where all cover is and just know the situation, or if you're just experienced and you've played the game before and actually remember it, then you don't have to go as all out on recovery and resilience. But I try to, just because, well, because I'm not that good. But with my grenade, I don't really focus on discipline. I mean, I still get discipline because the grenade can come in handy sometimes, but I would much rather get strength because of my hammer. I really like it. Now for intellect, I would recommend getting your intellect decent, even if you don't have that much faith in your special, in your super, because it can still come in handy sometimes. Like, your super is still probably better than still probably better than most of your moves. It's just, it does one big hit and then you're out of it. That's what it's like for some. But for some, it's just continuous damage. But if you don't like it that much, I still recommend getting it decent. I recommend getting it decent because if you don't have it decent, you might not be able to get yourself out of a tough situation. Like, for mine, it sends out a big shock. It used to send out a big shockwave. I don't know about my special right now, but it sends out a big shockwave, so it can come in handy when I don't want to hit myself with my grenade, which I think you can do with some grenades.
Not with my hunter's grenade, because it's just like, not with my warlocks, because I just throw it, and once I throw it, it makes the enemies that get caught in the bubble purple, and then 2 purple things fly out, and if they touch the enemies that are purple, they immediately die, no matter which boss it is.
That's Lincoln's. So Lincoln's, if you're a warlock and you have a certain thing, I would recommend getting discipline.
If you have a lot of enemies near you and you're running low on ammo, just use that and they'll all die.
Yeah, so that's why I recommend getting your intellect decent even if you don't have that much faith in it, because if you're surrounded by enemies and if you're running low on ammo, even if you're not running low on ammo, it can be useful, because if you're surrounded and you're about to die and then you realize your super is charged, but you've already used all your other abilities, your super can just be a last resort. Your super can just be a last resort, so that you don't die, especially in respawning restricted areas, because you don't want to die or else you have to restart the whole entire area. So I would do that. So that is all that I have to say for this episode. I hope it helped you in some way. And make sure you like and subscribe if it helped you and if you enjoyed. But for now, see ya.